Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening and happy Thanksgiving. A pandemic relief measure now becoming a fixture in New York state law.
Good evening. The Nourish New York program allowed the food bank of the Southern Tier to get farm fresh produce out to the community to feed families in need. That program will now become permanent. On Saturday, Governor Hochul signed legislation making Nourish New York a permanent program. The program fed thousands of families across the state in 2020, and Governor Hochul touted the spirit of Thanksgiving as a reason to keep it going.
We're thankful to live in this great country and to live in this state. But with that gratitude comes a sense of responsibility to others.
Natasha Thompson with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier says the program's permanent extension will continue helping local farmers and families in need.
It's really a win-win for food banks and for producers and for people in need because they're getting the best quality product, and it's coming right from our backyard.
With the pandemic creating an increase in food insecurity, Natasha Thompson says the program was able to help the food bank meet growing demand by purchasing $1.3 million in produce in 2020.
Closer to home we can get our products, the better it is for us to be able to meet the demand.
She says by making Nourish New York permanent, it acknowledges the great work food banks across the state do for their communities.
Food is essential, and if we don't have food, and if people don't have the food that they need to survive, nothing else that we do is going to be successful.
The Nourish New York program provided over 30 million meals to families across the state. Matt Kleinden's Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Thanksgiving Day is here, and unlike last year, families are finally able to gather and celebrate. But with the pandemic still a factor, many headed to stores to buy at-home COVID-19 tests to make sure guests were COVID-free. Yet as Jonathan Monahan reports, finding the tests proved to be a challenge for some.
I live in Whitman. None of the pharmacies there had any available.
This woman, who didn't want to show her face on camera, couldn't find a COVID test anywhere near her Whitman home.
Everywhere I went, people said, oh, nope. Then I started calling, no.
But 10 miles away at this Braintree CVS, she heard yes, finally allowing her to secure a worry-free Turkey Day.
And there's no Thanksgiving dinner without what I'm told.
Across town, we ran into this man who'd been searching all day.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few places. My in-laws live in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, so I went to 4 stores there, and then I came out here.
But not before buying them online first to secure them. He bought 4 to put relatives at ease.
There's a few people in our family who are immunocompromised, so, we want to make sure that we're, letting them know that we care about them and we're willing to go through some extra measures to show that.
We did find a CVS on Grove Street in Braintree that had a small stockpile of COVID tests. But other locations were running out quickly. This woman, who also declined to appear on camera, came to that first location we found to get a test for her son.
We're going to Thanksgiving dinner and my son's got like a head cold, so there's going to be babies. So
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And she lucked out, getting there just in time.
There's only 2.
You got the last 2?
I think so.
Turning tragedy into a reason to help. Businesses in Waukesha, Wisconsin are doing their part to help those affected by the deadly incident at the Christmas parade. Ashley Sears has more.
Michael Hurst has been working nonstop, creating ornaments, showing support for the place he calls home.
I don't sleep at night really anymore. It's hard to close your eyes.
For each Waukesha Strong ornament sold, 100% of profits will go to the community fund. For the Hursts, it's personal.
Just a lot of shock. It all happened so fast.
They were at Sunday's parade, just feet from devastation.
I think if I was a second later, my son would have been hit. Because I still feel the wind from that truck passing by.
You did the right one. This is a way to help heal.
And we wanted to find a way to give back to all the families because we were so grateful that even though it was close, our son wasn't injured.
They aren't alone.
We could just wrap it here.
At the Coop restaurant, employees are helping decorate for the holidays.
To put smiles on faces to help families, it's perfect.
On Friday, the restaurant will be donating 100% of sales to the Waukesha Community Fund. after 2 current and 1 former waitress were hurt at the parade.
The length of the injuries that she attained is just undescribable.
People doing what they can, turning heartbreak into help.
Extremely grateful. I don't really have words for it.
The NYPD's Chief of Department, Rodney Harrison, is retiring. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea made the announcement. Harrison is a 30-year veteran of the New York City Police Department. He is the only member of the service who has risen from the rank of cadet to Chief of Department. In December of 2019, he became the NYPD's Chief of Detectives, making him the first black person to hold that title. Earlier this year, he was named the Chief of Department. Harrison retires on December 30th at the end of current Mayor Bill de Blasio's term in office. Get ready for some long nights and working weekends. That's the warning for lawmakers in Washington who may be in for a brutal few weeks ahead. As Doug Luzader reports, once the Thanksgiving holiday wraps up, the pressure will be on for Congress and the White House.
The congressional Christmas tree in all its glory, but the spirit of the holidays will have to compete with an unrelenting countdown.
The Senate has a whole lot of important things to do between now and the end of the year.
The Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says holidays or not, nights and weekends are going to be consumed with a daunting to-do list in the weeks ahead.
What I anticipate is that we won't shut the government down.
And look at the coming deadlines. On December 3rd, there is that possibility of a government shutdown if Congress doesn't act. On December 15th, the Treasury Department says the nation could reach its credit limit and risk default. By the end of the year, Congress needs to pass the defense authorization bill. And at the same time, the president's falling approval numbers have Democrats deeply concerned about their prospects in next year's midterm elections. Leon Panetta, a Democratic political veteran, does not hold back.
The administration is in trouble, period. The president's got low rankings in terms of the polls. The administration has got some problems. Democrats in general have some problems.
And problems that the White House hopes to solve by pushing the president's huge Build Back Better social spending plan through the Senate next month after the House passed it last week.
This bill is going to be the biggest cost-cutting bill for working class and American families in decades in this country.
But there are increasing concerns even among some Democrats about the potential inflationary fallout from that bill. At the very least, the Senate is expected to make some big changes before it would ever reach the president's desk. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Still ahead tonight, this Thanksgiving, charities are being faced with a greater demand for food on top of higher prices, but also fewer donations at a time when they're needed most.
We usually spend $100,000 on our produce, and that's gone up to $125,000 a month.
More on the pinch that food prices are putting on so many this Thanksgiving.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. Temperatures will be dropping tonight. In the next few hours, we'll stay in the 40s and then drop down into the upper 30s. There is the possibility of some precipitation, and as those temperatures drop early tomorrow morning, that will be switching over to snow. It will turn colder with a cold front coming in, and it will be breezy as well. We do have the chance of snow through about Friday night, and there should be a little bit more sunshine coming in on Saturday, but it will remain relatively cold. So the cold front that is pushing through right now will continue to move through to the east and to the Atlantic. On the back side of it, we are going to have northerly winds spinning around that area of low pressure. And so with that north wind, it will drag colder air in from Canada and the Arctic. And so any precipitation that is left over on Friday will be switching over to snow. This whole system, though, will be moving out. It will be pretty blustery early in the day on Saturday. Temperatures will remain below normal through the early part of the weekend. But here's a look at your forecast for your Friday. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s, but then throughout the day, they will be plummeting. In fact, by the end of the afternoon, we will be below freezing, 31 degrees at 6 o'clock. Lots of cloud cover with the possibility of some snow. So our future radar is showing any rain that we have out there will continue through about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then that will be switching over to snow as those those temperatures will be plunging. A few snow showers throughout the day tomorrow that will continue into Friday night, and it looks like it starts to really diminish as we make our way into your Saturday. But we have another system that will come through on Sunday that will bring the possibility of snow back. So for tonight, we drop down to around 37 degrees in Corning, 34 degrees in Bath, around 38 degrees in Watkins Glen, Elmira, around 37 degrees. Highs tomorrow. Again, we do have the possibility of maybe an inch of snow in some locations, maybe a little bit more in some of our hometowns. 38 degrees in Elmira, 38 also in Watkins Glen, colder in Wayland at around 34 degrees and 35 degrees in Bath. So we have cold enough temperatures that will sustain the snow, and so it looks like we could get a little bit of accumulating snow on Friday. We dry out on Saturday. It will remain cold with a high around 37 degrees. Overnight lows will dive down into the 20s. And then we have a clipper system that will really move quickly through the day on Sunday. There could be a little bit more snow, accumulating snow, 2 inches in some of our hometowns. There may be some that may pick up a little bit more. Again, we dry out on Monday, and then more snow will be possible for the middle of next week. That's really going to keep the air temperature pretty cold. Highs will be mainly in the 30s through Tuesday, and then we warm up to around 40 degrees on Wednesday, with overnight lows in the 20s for the next 7 days.
Anyone who's been to a grocery store lately has felt the bite of higher food prices. And now that's starting to really hit home. Not just for those in need, but also for the groups that serve them. This Thanksgiving, charities are facing higher demand for food on top of those higher food prices, along with fewer donations at a time when they need them most. Madeline Rivera visited one food bank in Washington, D.C. to see the pinch that food prices are putting on so many this Thanksgiving.
Bread for the city is a lifeline for so many in Washington, D.C.
Have a good day, sir.
Barbara Meadows, just one of them.
I've been getting the free groceries for a while now.
But she expects she'll be getting more bags than usual because her food stamps aren't stretching as far as they used to.
I went to Walmart. The Safeway, the prices have went up a little bit.
During the pandemic, Bread for the City saw a spike in need, giving out 700 to 1,000 grocery bags a day. Now they're giving out more than 1,000 bags a day, in part, they say, because of inflation. The higher prices affecting their budget, too.
We usually spend $100,000 on our produce, and that's gone up to $125,000 a month.
Inflation, now at 6.2%, is rising at its fastest pace since 1990. Bread for the City feeling the pinch in donations too.
The donations that we get from our private community members are not coming in like they usually would.
So far, the organization says they've been able to meet the need, but they worry they might have to make some changes if prices continue to go up. Their worst case scenario?
We start giving less food. We start rationing it more.
Regardless, Meadows says she'll be grateful because something is better than nothing at all.
I'm appreciative of everything that I get.
The new flu season could be upon us. That's according to a new advisory published Wednesday from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The agency has seen increased flu activity among younger adults and college students. Experts are concerned that the flu and COVID-19, both circulating, could stress healthcare systems around the country. The CDC is anticipating an increase of the flu this winter due to low flu vaccine rates. They're warning doctors to be on the lookout for cases and encouraging them to offer the vaccine to all who are eligible. Many families are getting ready to get their Christmas trees this weekend, but trees will be harder to find and more expensive this year. Tree vendors say they have fewer trees due to extreme weather and supply chain issues. Heath Sullivan has more.
I like medium and smell good, and both of them.
Did it meet all your criteria?
Yes.
Families are clamoring for Christmas trees this year.
Beautiful. I said, Mom, Dad, come on, we have to go get the tree.
As families can finally gather, they want to gather around a grand fir.
Seems like everything's in short supply, so we thought we'd get out here early
But it looks like we've been late to a couple of nice trees.
We just talked to one of the guys here. They said they only have 3 types. Usually they have many more.
Derek's Christmas Trees in Deer Park, a 30-year family business, says he scoured the Northwest to order enough trees for his customers, but some are still missing.
Our primary shortage is anything above 11 foot, 11 to 12s, 12 to 13, 13, 14s. We just couldn't get them this year.
This is the 5th time we come because we're waiting for a big tree.
Vendors say it has been a struggle to stock up.
Extreme heat in the Pacific Northwest killed a lot of trees, but also it's just a shortage of trees overall, and we've had a challenge of getting trees. Trucking's also has been a challenge.
So we know there's a lot of logistics delays with all the shipment and stuff, so just getting out here early.
Analysts expect prices to be up 5 to 30% and encourage shoppers to buy early.
Most tree lots that have anything will be out by mid-December. So if you're really wanting a tree, I would suggest you come way before the mid-December time.
We just want to make sure that this Christmas tradition stays with our family, especially with the little kids.
Best Buy is beefing up security to combat rising crime. During an earnings call, CEO Corey Berry warned of an uptick in organized retail crime at its stores. In response, it's hiring more security guards and working with vendors to create a safe place while still showcasing its products. This warning comes as retailers, including Nordstrom and Louis Vuitton, have been hit with a string of brazen and large-scale thefts at their stores. A major win in the fight to curb e-cigarette use in teens. Juul Labs will pay $14.5 million to settle an Arizona vaping lawsuit. As part of the agreement, Juul has vowed not to market to minors in the state. In June, it reached a similar deal with North Carolina that included a $40 million payout. A Chicago boy who started a pandemic tradition of posting his jokes of the day says he's retiring after getting vaccinated. Sally Schultze has more.
This boy, with his nose in a joke book, has been putting his heart into making people laugh.
People don't like the pandemic. You get to have something to brighten up your day.
So Asher Horowitz became the joke master of Lincoln Square, posting a joke outside his family's home every day since COVID hit. Some soaring.
My leaf blower's broken. It sucks.
Some bombing.
A Roman guy walks into a bar, holds up 2 fingers and says, 5 beers, please. Roman numeral, V is 5.
We first interviewed Asher last year when the jokes were fresh. He started this at age 9 in March of 2020. He's now 11 and a half. But one huge development has convinced him it's time to put away the whiteboard. He's getting his second COVID shot.
The point of the joke of the day was to give people light during COVID. And now if I'm vaccinated, it's not really that much COVID anymore. It's less of an aspect now.
The pandemic started it, and this is a new page in the pandemic for him.
When this all started, the Horowitz family thought it might last for a few days, couple weeks. But now Asher has posted 610 jokes because they discovered people really needed this.
It was clear that it became a part of people's sort of daily routine. We passed so many people who had nothing to do that day, but they had one stop they had to make, which was to come to the Joke of the Day house.
They've received many thank you notes and cards, more joke books, but also a lot of praise for the reason this is ending.
I feel very accomplished. Like I've done something to help a lot of people around here, and I've gotten vaccinated. People have complimented me on that. A nurse wrote me a letter. One of our best customers wrote me a letter. We're so proud of you for getting vaccinated.
For his final day, Asher posted some of his all-stars, plus a note that better be a joke. He'll see us next pandemic.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A 4-legged fur baby out of Oregon is in the running to be the oldest living cat in the Guinness Book of World Records. Sam the cat is 26 years old and is showing no signs of slowing down. Sam's owner, Charlie Briggs, says the stray cat walked into her house back in 2002 and never left. So, the family decided to make it official and adopt him. Briggs has been in touch with Guinness and is hoping that her cat gets the top spot.
It started kind of as a joke because a friend just said to me, you know, he's so old, I wonder if he could get into Guinness. Like, I wonder how old the oldest living cat is. And we started doing research, and it's like the oldest living cat ever was like 38. But they're like, what's the oldest living cat now? And so I just like asked Guinness, and they're like, well, the oldest living cat we have on record right now is 24. And I'm like, what? He's older than 24.
The last cat on record to make it to age 30 was a Siamese from Texas named Cream Puff. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We hope you've had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you tomorrow.